What's more important, the fact that Martin Luther King is the man that fought for freedom, or the fact that he was cheating on his wife?
Jesus. I'm going to give you this example. He's a great father. He's a great businessman. He's a great CEO. He's an entrepreneur. He's such a boss.
He's a boss.
Look at that man. He's a boss. He's a great father. Look at him, that strong black man.
Look at him being at his kid's game.
But you're cheating on your wife. You're not a good husband. But he's great in all these other aspects. How are you a great leader, a great CEO, a great black man? You're not great. You're not great. God, you're not. That is triggering.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a good dad. You're not a good dad because you don't respect me. How the fuck you showing these kids you a good father and you don't respect their mother? You're not a great dad, my nigga. You're an okay human.
Someone being a good person to you means they're a good person to you. Someone being a good person to everyone means that they're a good person.
I was doing a video about a different subject, and I came across, I still had the clip where B. Simone disrespected Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When I watched that and I forgot, I had forgotten how toxic it was, how it made me feel. It made me feel very angry and enraged and shit because this woman was disrespecting her own fucking history. Okay? She had no fucking, she had no decorum, no integrity, no honor, no decent upbringing to not say some shit like that. And it doesn't matter what her experience was growing up in life or what her experiences was with her parents and shit, or anybody else for that matter, because a lot of times people make excuses when things make them feel uncomfortable and shit. And it's one of the reasons that Western civilization is falling apart and shit, okay? I was very hurt by this. I hadn't been hurt by a clip so bad since I saw Dr. Martin Luther King's, MLK's daughter, Bernice, talking about how she forgave the man that killed him or whatever. How she started forgiving, racist white people, whatever. And I realized she was traumatized. In my opinion, she was traumatized from, losing her father at an early age. And I always hated, seeing how things turned out in our community and how they're going down the toilet and shit. I always hated the fact that Martin Luther King was assassinated. He was never able to get home to his family. I always wish he would have somehow discredited himself and, enough where they would leave him alone, probably. Who knows? And so he could go home, to his family and live his life as, a pastor. A simple pastor. Look how it all turned out. Even all the sacrifice that he made. The things that he did, the things that he said, what he endured. We don't know how many times he was in jail. How many times has B. Simone been in jail? Or what does she even give a fuck about? What has she stood on her platform about that's not some kind of stunt? There's some kind of validation seeking stunt, I should say. I hate her face. I hate her fucking face and that shitty ass eyebrow and shit. And if it wasn't for the platform that I'm currently broadcasting this shit on, or however you want to, call it and shit, I would say a lot worse. Okay, I would probably be raging. And, a lot of my, viewers and listeners have heard me go off on shit, some different subjects over the years, over these past couple of years anyway. Right? And I'm going to tell you, just listening to that clip again, it made me feel that, we need our own version of Mossad, in our community and shit, to deal with shit in our community exclusively. All right, we need to deal with this. There's no code of conduct. There's no line that anyone won't cross and shit. It's just disgusting. Okay, this is what happens when you have no responsible parents in the house. And that's a metaphor, shit, for our community. There's no oversight into it and shit. We have another community that has come in and perverted the shit out of it over decades. And now it's just a self-sustaining negative black hole. All right? That I think that a lot of guys need to get the fuck out of and shit and restart our community elsewhere under our influence and shit. And any female that doesn't like it, any feminist or black identity extremist, you know, bitch, don't like it, you don't have to be there, okay? Make babies with whoever the fuck you can make babies with, but just get find yourself, have a happy ending and shit, have a family. Every time I see this clip, I have a violent rage go through my body. Like it feels like a spirit is running through me and shit. I'm 54. Okay, I live in Chicago. I live on the south side of Chicago. Martin Luther King came here, and he said it was one of the worst experiences that he had with racism and just hatred, overt hatred, in his entire career. And then, decades later, we got just some bitch sitting up with no fucking respect, running her goddamn mouth, putting shit on his name. Okay? Putting shit on his name. Now I want to get into like, oh, if MLK wasn't around, you wouldn't have no freedoms and all this bullshit. Like honestly, Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't around and shit, I think America would be burnt the fuck down. Okay? If they, stopped censoring history, you would find this out, what was actually going on during those times. There was a lot of civil unrest and shit. They just used that word as a safe word. But what was really happening is a lot of black people was just fucking shit up. Not just their communities, they was burning shit down all over the place. All right? So they had to do something. Why would they give us... You see the pushback for reparations and social reforms and shit in the supposed criminal justice system and shit. You see the pushback that they give today and shit, okay? Why do you think that they did the Civil Rights Bill back in the day and shit as part of the okie doke and shit? But, you can't count on somebody like B. Simone to go, do her due diligence before she start running her mouth and shit, which is why I think we need some shit like a Mossad. Some people just need a boot in their ass. Like a real good boot right up in the middle, in where the hole is and shit, up in her fucking ass. I despise this woman and shit, okay? For the things she said, there was no real blowback and shit, okay? She never addressed it again, and she just played it off, and you guys went on about your business to the next fucking subject and shit. And I didn't, obviously, because I have this fucking clip. Now, I'm going to keep this clip because I need it as a, it's an answer to questions about, like, why I make the kind of content I make and shit, why I talk trash and whatnot. I have tons of clips that I've archived and should have, just disrespectful, out-of-pocket bullshit, ethnic bullshit like this, okay? She is not funny. She is not a comedian. She is really hard on the eyes and shit. She is a goofy, retarded-looking, Milton Berle-looking bitch, okay? With a fucked up eyebrow. I don't know what happened to her eyebrow, but whoever did that shit, they need to come back and get the other side just to even it out. She is a vanilla-ass, basic biatch, okay? And I just despise her. And, sometimes I worry that I would end up in an orange jumpsuit, if I was in proximity and heard that bullshit. It's disrespectful and shit. How you gonna sit up and talk shit? What have you ever done for anybody outside of your fucking self? Do you know what this man was going through and shit? This people was actively trying to kill him and destroy his public image and shit. And talking about that infidelity, since you seem to take it so goddamn personal, can you imagine what you would feel like if somebody you knew people wanted you dead every day and was trying actively to harm you, physically harm you, mentally harm you, spiritually harm you, and destroy your name, your family image? Calling up your loved ones and telling them you fucking with, women and shit, you going down on women and shit. One of the great American myths that JFK was a big fighter for, civil rights and shit in his own right, him and RFK and shit. But, a lot of people don't know JFK wouldn't allow Sammy Davis Jr. into the White House because he was in an interracial relationship. He was kicked out of that shit. He was supposed to go there and meet him for something. He wouldn't let him go there. And then you hear Jackie O talking about the tapes she heard, the FBI tapes of Martin Luther King talking about going down on a woman and all that shit. Can you imagine the kind of stress you feel? He was smoking and shit, he was chain smoking and shit. And his body, he was in his 30s, but a lot of people think he was much older when he died. No, that was stress, man. And being on the road all the time and shit. And he did all that shit so you could sit up and run your fucking mouth. I'm serious. You need a boot in your ass. Okay, you really need that. You know, she's never gonna apologize. She wouldn't know what she was doing. She's retarded. Okay, B Simone is retarded. She belongs on the short bus and shit. And on that short bus is a motherfucker that looks like Debo with one boot on one foot, and he's wearing some slave clothes. He got one combat boot on, and you know where that boot's going? It's going in your fucking ass, B Simone. All right, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with any woman that doesn't call this shit to the carpet, and black people in general that just let this shit slide and shit. She should be on site and shit. All right, she should get the same treatment that the bit assholes that killed Shanquilla Robinson, recently got. They tried to go out. Them girls that killed her went out in public recently, and they got their ass whooped. A bunch of black women came out of nowhere, like fucking 20 to 30 bitches, and beat their ass and ripped off their weaves and shit. I have footage of that. This is what B Simone deserved, but fuck it. I guess she gets to go on with her shitty ass career. And nobody's even called Nick Cannon, and because she's one of his protege or something. Nobody calls Nick Cannon and tell him that he needs to call her up and make her capitulate about that. She needs to bend the fucking knee. She needs to get the same fucking treatment that Kyrie Irving got. That's what I would like to see ideally, but I know that won't happen because you don't have no code of conduct in this community and shit. She needs a boot in her ass. We need a Mossad. This disrespectful shit needs to be addressed within our community, within our ranks and shit, okay? Within our fucking ranks, okay? Because a lot of people died and shit so that we can have some basic freedoms. That's the running story. And these assholes, the minority majority, are always telling you that, they always use that Dr. King quote, excuse me, about, the content of, not by the color of his skin, but the content of his character and shit. But they destroy your character and your image on a daily basis. And you got this bitch being middle management for white supremacy, doing the most, being brand new and shit. And I think a brand new, right out the factory combat boot in her cheeks is what she needs. And I ain't got nothing to say about that other broad and shit, She don't matter and shit. She don't matter. I was finna say something, I had to catch myself and shit because I would get a fucking strike. At this point, it would be a warning and shit. I actually talked myself out of a warning that I got earlier. So, I still have that caveat. You kings out there. I'm talking to the brothers. When you meet an ignorant, dumbass bitch like this, don't even fuck them. Okay? Don't have sex on them. Don't have nothing to do with them. Don't spend one red cent on her ass. Don't let her sit in your car. And if she happens to get in your car, make sure she never sits in the front seat and shit. I noticed that, that's some kind of weird thing in Korea and shit. I saw. In Korea, a lot of bitches sit in the back seat. They don't even ride in the front seat with the dude that's driving the car and shit. All right? You need to start doing that shit over here. There's got to be consequences for this ignorant ass behavior. She needs, I won't say she needs to be canceled. I know that's not going to happen. I know a lot of black women are going to look the other fucking way and shit. They only come and speak out, and on these situations when it's in their own best interest or they appeal to their infantile, narcissistic nature and shit. Fuck you, B Simone. You need a bootin' ass.
That Martin Luther King is the man that fought for freedom, or the fact that he was cheating on his wife?
That is triggering.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a good dad. You're not a good dad because you don't respect me. How the you showing these kids you a good father and you don't respect their mother? You're not a great dad, my nigga.
No. You're doing too much. I'm serious. She sounds like a turkey. Listen to that. Double. Since you're an entertainer. Very good one. But it's not like, in times of national emergency, the country turns and says, what's going on Wild 'N Out? What's B Simone saying? All it takes for you to come down to reality, B Simone, is one wrong post. You are one viral video away, one internet canceling away from being back at Forever 21 selling shit.
Say, why don't you pick on somebody your own disposition? Oh, please, Mr. Barroom Brawler.
Don't hurt me or anything like that.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.